Hello, my name's Danson
Hello.
Dusaka.
And I'm old boy,
It is too late in the day for this kind of craziness.
which is why we're talking over one another.
It is, it is. It has been a long day. We
It
have
has
done
indeed.
much today. And I thought, so I wanted to do, we talked about it briefly, a physics testing video. And one of the things I wanted
Yes.
to do, I'll explain what this is in a second, and then we'll kick you off the server to demonstrate something.
Okay.
I wanted to test momentum. I wanted to test the speed of engines. Okay, so I wanted to put like a gas engine down. I wanted to put like electric engine down. I wanted to count the number of revolutions it did per minute on each setting. Okay, with me so far?
Okay. Yeah.
But you know me, I do things by halves every time. I'm
No, you don't. You
I
never
would
do
say-
things by halves.
I'm well known for being lazy and like not putting my full effort into it. So what I decided to do was build
Yeah.
a counter.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. A counter to count the revolutions, and I've just got this little sensor here. It spins around. I've seen some people do logic online where they're basically building what I would call a light computer, an old-fashioned light computer. We're using photo optics to see whether a thing is blocking. In this case, you see people build little things like this, and then put a sensor right next to it to kind of go, is this thing there or not? They have little things that look a bit like that. Yeah, and then that will woggle side to side, and they can turn this switch on off, and you can make almost permanent switches. That I didn't like it, had some problems, so I decided to go back to my trusty friend, the flip-flop.
The flip-flop that we previously demonstrated does not work
However-
on these servers.
However, I then discovered something really strange, and this is going to be a really short video because I wanted to show this. Basically, the problem is to do with ticks again. In this circuit, I have a really nice short pulse come through. Okay, it's very regular because this has a very regular turning. There's no forces acting this other than the motor. Okay, and what's happening here is the input to this XOR will be dependent upon its output. So the problem was I can't feed itself back on itself. I can't put an output of itself into itself.
No.
So I wanted it to basically to come on when there was an input on, if it wasn't already on, and if it was already on, to turn off again. And you would do that just by looping it back on itself. Now you might go, why did I use 2? So if I just delete this second, just delete all the bits, right? I could put that into there, and that back into there. But I can't put that into that because it's already going that way. Okay, so that path between two components can only be kept in one way. So the way to do that is to buffer that output back into the first one, and then buffer that one into the second one. Okay?
Right, okay, yeah, gotcha.
But then what you find is there's a pause. The reason this is going slowly is to give it enough time to process. So what you're seeing here is that the first time it goes over, and it's a bit weird. Now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to boot you off the server now. Do you mind leaving a second? And
Sure.
and then imagine you can see what I'm seeing, and just say things like, "Oh, that's interesting," every now and then. Okay. I'll cue you to key when you have to say, "Oh, that's interesting," because I noticed
I'll get off the server.
the moment you joined the server, it started doing this weird thing. I could explain it when you weren't here. I wonder. Go on, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm gone.
Really?
I'm out. I'm on the loading screen.
Giant hammer, smash you in the head.
Just check that I haven't left anything weird running anywhere on the server. Like,
No, it says in the bottom corner you have left. Oh, well, that was an impressive magic trick. Okay, now.
okay, did it just speed up some significant time after I left then?
No, you were still in the game. I'm gonna just turn that off a second and see if I can get this to. You see, that's weird. Now it's working. I'm going to log and log back in.
Okay.
Load game. Flat 2. Load. By the way, this word's called Flat 2, and yet it really isn't. Okay, no, you can come back in then because it's not quite doing that. What was happening beforehand, I was seeing that this was turning on for like 1/3 of operations. Then it was turning on for 2/3. So it was like almost a dark grey when it's smoothed out. And then it was turning on solidly. And then it was turning off again. So again, I wonder if I just slow this down a little bit more.
Nope.
There it is. Do you see it's flipping between these two states now? One is now when it's going on for like 1/3, and then one for this is the 1/3 state.
Yeah,
this is
but
the 2/3 state, and this is back to the 1/3 state.
Just to give you an indication that this might have something to do with lag, I cannot move my character or select anything on my title bar or select anything on my quick bar.
How bizarre. So I wonder if this kind of loopback logic the game isn't optimized for. And I need this loopback logic. I either need to be able to loop stuff back on itself to do things like flip-flops. Because the idea is I could then take the output of this, if this was stable, I'd take the output of this into the next one, and you could do a binary counter. And therefore I can count how many times a thing has gone round, or how many times a spring is depressed, or whatever. And we could do some proper physics experiment. Other than that, I've got to record this and count it by hand. And
What you've actually got to do is record it and send it to the devs and ask them to optimize this.
well, I think this was going to come back to. I'm going to have to do some forum posts and say anything which requires a feedback just doesn't work. And it, like, if I put it in linearly, I mean, I could
I
use
still can't move.
really.
Yeah, I'm going to try leaving again.
That's very weird because I've just destroyed all the. Logic. And you can see here it flashes across, and it flashes across at the rate of 1 per tick, 1 per game tick, or should be something like that. And when you start feeding back, because I had 3 elements, 2 doors and the Zor in the middle, that would have been 3 ticks, and that's why I think it was 1/3 to 2/3, or it was in those states. I did actually have it working really beautifully, where it was completely off, 1/3 on, 2/3 on, completely on, and then as it went round again, so every revolution it would go round. Basically, I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to stop the recording here and just say like thanks for watching. But I need to come up with better ways. I started looking at mechanical ways of storing state. So instead of that, I had I'll show you this idea, even though I don't want to get stuck into a massive. I don't have anything in my inventory to do this. That should be it. So the problem I have with this, if I actually put the bearing in the right place, bop, and back to that one, back to that one, put the controller down next to it, and then put a button down. Right, wire these 3 things together. So I want this to start at -90, I want this to go +90, and then back 90, and on loop. Okay, so every time I press this, you see, if I don't press it for long enough, it doesn't complete the circuit.
Okay.
And it's really weird. It's like I pressed it several times, and it's like it almost builds up to a second, and then that's when it starts to go across fully. So to use this as like a state machine, if I then build that into here, I could, like, if it went across in every pulse, and that's what we need to do. So in Minecraft, what you would do is you would build a thing where you used a piston and sand, and you would use the sand falling to trigger a block update, and you could make what were monostabilic circuits. You could make things which allowed you to count edges or trigger on an edge, and there isn't that concept here. And that's the problem I'm having, is I need to learn a bit more about, like, this control doesn't help me, this doesn't help me. I'm a bit stuck, so I need, like, either not to have long days. You're just saying, yep, I understand. That's interesting. Like, random, aren't you now? Because
Because I'm not actually seeing anything, and I apologise. You rumbled.
That's all right. You almost convinced me. I was looking around to see where you were, thinking, "Wow, this lag has got worse." You're actually invisible.
I thought I was getting away with it because you already mentioned that you were tired. I thought I was genuinely getting away with it.
You were getting away with it. I was literally going. I was about to say this lag is terrible. You haven't even loaded on my screen. No, wait a moment. He's not here.
What I'm actually doing is looking at some world builders that I've found in the Steam Workshop for some very interesting racetracks that we might be able to use. So
we will need cars that go in circles. We'll get a steer point for that. Right. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here.
We are going to need cars that go around a lot more than circles.
I'm going to stop it here, though.
Okay.
As I say, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Post in the comments if you've got any ideas what we could do differently. And let me know. All right, I'm Bean Dan Stan.
I have been Old Boy.
And we'll see you soon.
Night, folks.